Good evening, guys. Today is October 3rd, Tuesday, end of the day of the market. And we didn't have a very good day today overall in terms of the indices. All three indices down pretty big overall if you look at it. Not a good start, but that's what happens in the market. The Dow was down 1.3%, 430 points. The Nasdaq down 1.8%, nearly 1.9 at 248 points down. The S&P 500 down 1.3% at 59 points down. So pretty significant drop for the year. Just to give you context, for the year, if you look at it overall, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has been down so far year to date about 45.45%. So not significant. The Russell 2000 is down 2% almost, but the S&P is up 10%, and the Nasdaq is up 35%, 33% actually to be precise. So overall, I still expect for the remainder of the year the markets to be choppy, trading within range. One of the companies, though, that came up through the list for my scanners is Jabil Circuits, which is a semiconductor company. And I thought we'll just quickly go through our five-step process, see what we get. So five-step process, just to remind people who have been new to the show, I go through first the fundamentals, then I go through and find the stage and find the trend. After that, I'll do the moving averages and I'll check for where they are overall in terms of support and resistance. Then we'll check for the relative strength index. And then finally, we'll check for momentum if it exists or not and wrap it up that way. So let's start with the fundamentals first. Why is the company showing up on my radar? And it's hitting new highs, 52-week highs, actually. So that's very interesting. So start with the income statement, start with the annual flow. The company, in terms of total revenue, has been growing in the 3% range before. Then 2020, it slowed down. 2021, it slowed down to 7%, moved up again to 14%. So that's actually slowing dramatically, but still hitting 52-week highs. Compared, I think, relative to the rest of the market, their revenues seem to be fairly stable, which is probably what I think is the reason why. But otherwise, don't see a big reason for this company to actually show me a reason to buy. But they're hitting their 52-week range, so which is an interesting thing. Look at it from a quarterly perspective. Actually, last quarter revenue is slowing down even further, down 6%. So I'm not sure why this is going up very well. Surprising that it shows up, but we'll go through it anyway. Balance sheet is strong. Debt is fairly low. That's not an issue. Free cash flow has been reasonably strong, but it's been reducing a little bit compared to year-over-year comparison. Semiconductor overall has been challenging. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're finding revenue to be a challenge. But let's look at it overall. We start at the very, very highest level. What is this? What is this company's stock in terms of its overall? Each stock tends to have its own movement. They tend to have their own personality. I'm trying to find out what that is. So it started out at a very good stage 2, reduced to a stage 4, dramatic increase, and then did a little bit of consolidation, but not too much. Again, a rapid ramp up in the 2000 timeframe, and then big ball of consolidation from 2000 all the way to 2006, and then a dramatic drop down to 2008. And then since 2009, it's actually been on a consolidation phase here. This is stage 1. Let me draw that for you at a very high level on a monthly basis. This is what consolidation looks like. Stage 1 consolidation just moves in and out within a very narrow range, $14 to $32. Now, it's not a very narrow range, but it's narrow enough. And then since then, oops, I don't know why this is not letting me do that. Okay, there you go. Since then, if you look at it, it's been on a fairly good clip from all the way from 2020 May. Did a little bit of consolidation, if you will, but since then it's been on a relatively good trajectory. I'm going to draw a tight little trend. So the trend right now seems up, if you will. So this is consolidation pattern again. So it's just stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. It should have gone down further, but it didn't. So that means it's a relatively strong stock. And so this you can consider it as the stage 1 again, and then stage 2 ramp up. So that's pretty interesting overall at the very highest level. Now let's look at the weekly chart. In terms of the weekly chart, again, I'm trying to find out patterns in this stock. What can I do? So I'm going to tighten up a little bit in terms of where the stock's movement has been. You can start even better patterns, but I'm just going to start with the highest level right now. The good thing is they don't have a very strong resistance for it, very easily defined. The reason is because this is hitting its 52-week lag. So technically, you could call this a resistance area, but I really doubt it. What you want to look for is support areas where the stock has touched a bottom and reversed a couple of times. So this could be one potential area, the 104 time frame, which is where it touched in the September 18th, so a couple of weeks ago. Again, I think that may be one support area, but really you want to look for strong support areas. Then it's most likely going to be in this area, the 75 zone, on the safe side. I don't think it might get there, but that's one. Resistance wise, it's hard to figure out a resistance because it's hitting its 52 weeks. These are good setups, by the way. No resistance in the short term. It could go higher as long as it has the strength to do it. Okay, so did I find any big patterns in the weekly chart? Not significantly. It did a double top and then moved higher. So this is a good bull flag forming, or at least a pattern that is starting to emerge on the weekly chart. A very good green candle on the month of September. And so where you would expect it to go, technically, look at the stock. So it does a little bit of a bump up and then moves up again. That's one pattern. Look at this. So it does a little bit of a green candle, 3 completely moves up, consolidates a little bit, ramps up again, consolidates a little bit, ramps up again. Look for all the green candles. You'll find the pattern. Look at that. Green candle on the month, couple of ramp ups, and then move slowly back again. So that's what you should expect to see. There are some outside patterns. There's a green candle and moved a little bit, but then still moving again. So this is still a good sign. Look at the stock consistently. You can see what it has done in terms of similar candles and expect the pattern to continue. Remember, rule number 1, stocks continue to go in the same direction that they like to go. And the personality stock is very fractal, which means it keeps repeating. In the short term and the long term, will keep repeating. Okay, let's go to the daily chart and see what you get. Okay, so you could see that here was a very nice resistance area that it broke through. This is in the 115 kind of zone. You want to keep that as a zone that is interesting for you as well. And now this zone moves a little bit more down. That would be a good support zone. So this could be a support zone, 116, because of the fact that it actually was a previous resistance. It broke through. But realistically, this 101 zone, 100 zone is probably more of a good support area because it bounced off of here a couple of times, right? So it came down, bounced up, came down, bounced up. If it goes down, I would expect the first stop to be in the 115 zone, so 129 to 115. Look at this green candle. This was a couple of days ago on the 28th of September, a few days ago, and then just forming a nice little bull flag that I think will actually emerge. What will happen most likely is, looking at the previous pattern of the stock, this is what is going to happen. It's going to do a little bit of a flag here, take a little bit of a rest, maybe down to this area in the 120 zone or even to the 114 zone maybe, and then zoom up back again. When I say zoom up, relatively speaking, this is not a fast-moving stock. Look, just to give you a context, it went from the 75 range to the 100 range in roughly about 30 or so. So this was April of 23, June, May, June. So 2 months. So 2 to 3 months, you should expect it to consolidate a little bit and then continue its way forward. So that's what it looks like. Look at there's a strong moving average convergence divergence. So momentum is strong on the stock. RSI is also very, very strong on the stock. So I would expect this stock to continue to do fairly well. Look for a bull flag in a market where it's fairly touch and go to a large part. We expect it to go down. Jabil Circuits is actually going to do fairly okay, but it's not a fast-moving stock. I would take my and look at the consolidation period. It's done for quite a few months, all the time when other stocks were doing. So June through September, when most of the stocks were going down, it hasn't gone down all that much. 115 range to 100 range. I mean, 15, 20%. That's not bad at all in terms of a movement, and broke through. The key is it broke through this resistance zone to an all-time high now. So I would expect it to go down a little bit, or maybe for either a bull flag there or a flag that looks a little bit lower, which means it goes like this downwards. Let me just show you what that would look like. Either one is to be expected. So it could do this, or it could do one of those where it might actually do this thing. One of those things. I'm not sure what it would do, either go up or go down. But then after that, once it hits a resistance point, it would easily be all the way to 116, which I really doubt. It's probably most likely to 120, 125 is where it is, 127 is where it is right now, and then move up back again. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel.